What's up, everybody? Listen, today is a new day, a special day, a phenomenal day. The weather's changing, the sun is out, and I wanted to take this day to actually do things a little differently. I'm multitasking today, and so I wanted to come on and, of course, speak to everyone because so excited about the fact that this is the 10th episode of A Principal's Perspective, where I aim to be a principal to the people. And my name is Justin Davis. And I want to come to you all today from a different perspective. But before we get started, as always, school is in session. Let's get to this lesson. So today's lesson is different than what you've heard in the past. There's sayings that we say to ourselves all the time, but we never really think about what we're saying. And one of those sayings, I believe, that said a lot is the truth hurts. But I'm here today to tell you that actually, it's opposite of that. The truth helps. And what I mean by that is the truth helps if you allow it to help you. Too many of us, and when I say too many of us, I'm speaking from the realm of as it relates to school. Too many of us as principals, teachers, parents, and students are running from the truth. Every time somebody gives us some constructive criticism, we find a way to debate it, argue it, ignore it, when in all actuality, deep down, we know that what they're saying is true. And the truth of the matter is, it could help us if we wanted it to. So I'm gonna talk to everybody today, principals included. We're not immune to this as principals because we are leaders. We think nobody can tell us anything. We think the teachers don't really understand what they need to understand, and we see the bigger picture. And a lot of times we might see a bigger picture, but there are things that we miss, just like any normal person would. We don't see everything. So if your teachers or staff as a principal are saying they want to be included more, listen to them. A lot of times that's the case, whether we realize it or not. As principals, we're so bogged down with trying to do so many different things. We forget to reach out to those people that are in the trenches with the students in the classrooms and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? I know I've done it in the past, so leaders, we're not immune to it. Constructive criticism is for everyone. So be open to listening to your students, your teachers, and your parents, and humble yourself. And that's going to be a common theme for this talk for everyone. So often, I think we don't want to humble ourselves in situations like this. So I'm going to move on. Teachers, listen. When you get it from everybody. You get it from the students, you get it from the parents, you get it from the principals. And you all have a very, very difficult job, very tough job. And I know sometimes you don't hear it enough that you're awesome, you're spectacular, you're incredible. Most times people are telling you what you're doing wrong. And I get it. It's difficult to always hear that. But sometimes the things that they're saying are not to hurt you, but to help you. So if you have a parent that's saying, hey, you know, my son or daughter is saying that when you speak to them, you don't always speak to them in a professional manner. Don't be so quick to write that off and say, well, Johnny is always acting up. That might be true, but regardless of whether Johnny is acting up or not, we're the professionals, we still have to find a way. Or if the principal is saying, hey, you know, you did well in this area of the lesson, but I really want you to dig into this part because I see that you're not really putting in the prep that you should. Don't get so defensive. Understand that if you succeed, the principal succeeds. So what sense would it make for any school leader or principal to give you bad advice as far as how to teach? Now, not to say that principals can tell you how to teach. They can't. But what they can do is say, hey, this is an area that might be a blind spot for you. So constructive criticism, the truth can help. Parents, You all have a difficult job as well. Probably the most difficult as it relates to this conversation, because your sons and daughters are with you and they're growing and they're changing, and you're doing the best that you can. And a lot of times, depending on your parenting style, your son or daughter may be reluctant to really share their truth as it relates to your parenting style and whether it's helping or hurting them. And I know that it's always our intentions as parents to help our children. But sometimes you got to take a step back and listen to your son or daughter to see if whether what they're saying makes sense. And a lot of times you've heard it before. You've heard it from your sister or your brother who said you're being too hard on them, or you're not listening to them. Or you've heard it from the teachers to say, hey, I see this and I see that, and it may be opposite of what you think. So you may be less likely to listen. So in that situation, parents, don't be so quick to just say, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Once again, the truth can help. Students, last but not least, the truth of the matter is, when you're young, you think you know everything. So when your parents, your teachers, and your principals are speaking that truth to you, they're speaking it because they want you to grow. So often students think that we're trying to change them. And it's not about change, it's about growth. I always remember that, because I hear students say that a lot. Nobody's going to change me. You can't change me. You're right, nobody can change you, but you have to choose to grow. So when your parent is saying, hey, you're not giving your best effort, I know you could do better. Deep down, you know you can, you just don't want to. Or when the teacher is saying, hey, listen, if you work harder, or if you do this or do that, you'll have success. Be open to it. Don't get so frustrated and say, oh, you always on me. You never see the good things that I do. True enough, we need to be more celebratory of the things that you all are accomplishing. But don't get so frustrated when people are saying, you're not doing this or you're not doing that, or you could do this better if you tried it this way. So I know this was a different principal's perspective. Gave you a different scenery. I'm trying to multitask, get my exercise in at the same time. But that's today's lesson. I hope you got something from it. As always, continue to be great, be phenomenal, be magnificent, be spectacular. And I will see you when I see you. But remember, most importantly, have a phenomenal week. And best of all, most of all, make sure you have a phenomenal school week. You all have a great rest of the week.